We've been off the mics for a while, and we're coming to you in a pretty dark time in American history. Right? If you're on the East Coast and you listen to this as we drop it, most likely you're snowed in. We were just talking about that off air. Jeff Capel is still the coach of Pitt basketball. Our nation trembles in fear as to what he has planned next for his next amazing loss. Uh, ICE is invading several American cities, but as if the week couldn't get worse, right? The Patriots are back in the Super Bowl.
Everything sucks. That's
Everything does fucking
everything.
suck. Also, I do want to. I gotta make a new intro track, and I gotta do that. Gotta cue the new intro music this time.
Give to Turner up the middle, first down and more. Inside the 30, Turner inside the 10, all the way for the Pittsburgh touchdown. And possibly Heinschel going for all the hits.
Throws it back to Olivia Babcock, and she's got 9 kills.
Touchdown.
This will be a statement win for your program. What will this do for this Pitt program?
What does this mean?
Yeah, what does this mean for you guys?
It won't mean anything if we don't handle business these next couple of weeks. So, we're really going to enjoy this one. I'm going to go have a cold one, and then we'll get ready for Miami.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Simple 5 Podcast. I'm your host, Zach Kaminsky. I hope you enjoyed the new intro track. We decided after using our last one for, I think, 3 years, it was time for a change. Jeff Capel was, he got benched on the intro track for the new clip, but we're happy to bring it to you. Happy to be back on the mics, and with me is my co-host, Ian Labach. How are we doing tonight?
Now, it's been an interesting last couple weeks in Pitt world, to say the least. So we have a lot to recap, but I'm not doing too bad. I'm a little cold. My South Oakland apartment is very cold right now. But besides that, I don't have much to complain about.
Yeah, I'm sure your insulation in the walls is like dry macaroni shells and like old pants. I feel like we do this every year too. We'll record right up to the bowl game, and then through the holidays and usually December sucking ass, we won't record another show until like January or February. It doesn't help that basketball has given us nothing to talk about, so we do apologize for the extended absence. We're back on the mics for the off season because we're not going to talk about basketball more than we have to. But I do want to start out with non-Pitt stuff because we didn't cover the playoff at all. Congratulations to the Indiana Hoosiers on their first national championship, the first fun national champion we've had in a long time. I just want to say, I called it. They were my pick. They were my pick on the playoff preview show. And I don't know, man. I thought this year's playoff was awesome. There were so many games that were good. What are your thoughts here?
I think every game at least had a little bit of, I watched all of them. I got value from most of them. I just want to say I was working at Jeans when the championship was going on, and I called the Carson Beck piss down his leg interception on the last drive. It was a glorious moment. It was probably like a minus 1,000 odds at that point when you give Carson Beck the moment to be clutch. But, that's what you get.
Vamp for me for a second. I got to look up a stat for you because you're going to enjoy this one.
Was it about Carson Beck?
It is about Carson Beck.
You
might have seen it. I don't know.
I probably have, but I'm sure it'll be awesome to relive Carson Beck hate.
Okay. All right. So, in Carson Beck's career, he lost 6 games, which is frankly an insane stat. You don't really do that a lot of the time. Okay. I'd like you to guess, out of those 6 games, how many of those games was a Beck interception his team's last offensive play?
Okay, so he did it last offensive play.
So they never got the ball back, or it basically ended the game, right? They never got the ball back.
So he did it in the Louisville game, right, this year?
Mm-hmm.
He did it in the SMU game this year.
Mm-hmm.
Did he do it in one of
the title?
He did it in the title game. And did he do it against Bama one time when he was with Georgia?
I mean, I don't know. I'm not a Georgia fan, but
Oh,
come on, you got an answer basically.
so it's 3 out of 6.
No. Sorry, I'm. What is it? What is your final answer? I should have said.
My final answer is 4 out of 6.
You would be correct. 4 out of 6, a whopping 66% of Carson Beck's career losses have been at the hands of a Carson Beck interception. And you could not draw it up any better. The overlooked Miami kid who gets the pick, who did you see this? The guy who got that pick is related to the guy who had the DPI call in their 2002 title loss game to Ohio State.
I did not. That's insane.
Yeah.
That's
So
absolutely
so that family, that bloodline is torturing the Miami Hurricanes. Picks off Carson Beck, throws up an absolute BLT, a junior bacon cheeseburger. I mean, if Carson Beck is an average quarterback who has a UCL, he makes that throw. I think it was actually a good idea. Carson Beck just couldn't physically do it. I just want to say, Carson Beck, fuck you. But really, shout out to the Hoosiers. I mean, before the title game, they killed everybody in the playoff. They killed Alabama. They killed Oregon. Um, and when the going got tough against Miami, they pulled that out. I mean, the Fernando Mendoza run is going to go up on like the all-time highlight reels of college football, where you're just going to see it every offseason until you die, which is a testament to how fucking cool that play was.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's early, but Mendoza's pretty much locked up White Boy of the Year, and it's not even February. So,
See, I think that it's sort of like the awards shows. They do it a little bit after the year starts. Your contributions to the playoff for the 2025 season do not count for your White Boy of the Year accolades for the following year. This is all within the consideration for the board of the 2025 White Boy of the Year.
well, then he clinched it with a couple of days.
Oh, I agree with that. There's he's taking it from the front and the back, boys. He's giving it all for his team. All-time quote by Fernando Mendoza. What a goober. Do you follow him on LinkedIn?
I do follow him on LinkedIn. I love that he only has LinkedIn and YouTube to watch Bengal NFL rebuilds, and now he has to be the one who rebuilds a team, which should be very fun for Mendoza.
I'm sorry, Bengals?
No, it's this one famous YouTuber called Bangle.
Oh, okay. All right, sorry. I'm Unkin
Yeah.
Shop. That's my bad. Uh, I do want to say though, Kurt Signetti, probably the greatest coach of all time. All he does is win.
Yeah.
At every level, he's done it. He took Indiana from the losingest program of all time to national championship winner in 2 years. And by the way, if you're asking if Pitt can do this and just hire the right coach, no, we're broke. We're going to get to that, but the whole reason that Indiana won is because they have a ton of money that they started spending at the right time. Indiana was a perfect storm to win a title at a institution like Indiana, and that's not to discredit Kurt Signetti. I think he's a fantastic coach. This is not repeatable. There are going to be a lot of schools that get in trouble for trying to repeat the quote-unquote find the next Kurt Signetti. It's not going to work. It's the Josh Allen drafting technique that gets GMs fired in the NFL. You're going to want a Josh Allen, you're going to get an Anthony Richardson, is what I'm saying. And, applied to Kurt Signetti. So.
Yeah, I think that people look at what Indiana does and they're like, why can't Pitt do it? And I think that there is a path, but it's not, as we'll get to, it's not, if I was a betting man, it would not be what I would bet on for Pitt. So
No, and I mean, if you want to talk about Indiana's rise to be a title contending program, right? First off, they made a fantastic hire. That's the first part. Kurt Signetti was kind of a risk. He'd never been a head coach above the G5 level, and his only job at the G5 at JMU was at a storied like legacy power. They are one of the halves of the G5, right? And that's why they've continued their success moving up into the FBS. He was older, and I think his last experience in the Power 5 before that was when he was on Bama's staff as a wide receivers coach. So they hired a good coach. All of his assistants have been with him for several years throughout divisions. And then at the same time, NIL breaks loose, revenue sharing starts up, and Indiana basketball is really bad. So they have all these money donors who want to give to a program that can win, and basketball's not doing it for them. So he basically whips the boosters up into donating for football and ends up working. They ended up getting Mendoza, who was the best quarterback, a Heisman winning quarterback in college football. They have great additions in the transfer portal. They still have good high school recruiting. They kept Charlie Becker, the white wide receiver, is one of the only guys they kept from the Tom Allen era. And then, of course, because he was coaching guys at JMU, he brings in his guys who know the system. Which I think Kamara was a JMU guy, the guy who blocked the punt, who ended up being the difference in the game. All those factors come together, and yeah, you could do it if Pitt donors wanted to spend money, which they don't. They want to give money to the medical school, but medical schools don't win football games. They don't bring home trophies. Well, they might, but not the trophies we want.
If you give money to the football team, there'll be probably more medical injuries to research.
You want to talk about upgrading the spinal surgeon research at the University of Pittsburgh? Get the football team better. And I mean, listen, this is a point I've made, but the better your team is, the more people want to go to your school. It's something that the University of Alabama approved in the 2000s. So if you want more medical students, get a better football team. It's just kind of how it works. I don't know. End of story. Congrats to Indiana. Congrats to Mendoza. Congrats to everybody on that team. Congrats to Indiana fans who are the first team deserving of a title probably since the 90s. I think they're the first time champion since Washington in the 90s, I believe. First deserving champion in a while. That's what I'll say. Want to bring it back home? What do you want to start with Pitt? We have a lot to get through.
I think we should just start and get the bowl game out of the way.
Okay. That sucked.
Yeah, Pitt versus a group of 5 school in a bowl game, fade every time.
Yeah, we lost 23-17 to East Carolina. I will say just everything sucked about that game. The offense couldn't go. The defense, of course, usual suspects, giving up bomb play touchdowns to like a 4th string quarterback. I got to say, props to the ECU D-line, man. Those guys were nasty. Our O-line still sucks. And, the O-line coach didn't lose his job over that game, which is crazy. That sucked, but whatever. Fuck it. To me, it doesn't matter. It was just kind of a waste of 3 hours of my life. And it also got me blocked by JJ Kitchen on Twitter, which is very funny.
I didn't know that was the last straw.
What? I don't think he'd ever interacted with, this is my personal account, not the pod account, where I'm a consummate professional who would never say I'm rooting for ISIS over Penn State unknowingly 24 hours after a claimed ISIS attack. But yeah, that never happened. Consummate professional on there. No, he did. When he was beefing with that one ECU account, he'd been doing that leading up to the bowl game. ECU pages were clowning on him. And then, I think after one of the long touchdowns, yo, this is JJ Kitchen's fault. And then, 3 hours later, I was like, oh, I'm blocked by this guy.
Yeah,
it was kind of day, folks.
Yeah, I think with the bowl game that I think where I stand on the bowl games are they don't matter. It'd be really cool if we won. But also it just usually ruins my day and puts a sour taste in my mouth going into the transfer portal, which we can get into in a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I thought the play calling was horrendous. Mason's Hail Mary attempt was the worst I've ever seen. Or, quote unquote attempt that made me mad in the moment. We had one good drive at the end of the half. Then nothing else worked. I think Biles did Biles have a pick 6 in that game? Am I remembering that correctly?
Was it a fumble 6 or something?
It was a fumble. It was like a fumble 6 after a weirdly blown dead touchdown for ECU.
Yeah, ECU. Yeah, the whole game was just completely a hodgepodge of this is slop, and it was college football slop. And let's just say I'm glad that I had snow and decided not to go. But
Yeah, I'm glad I had other plans that day, is what I'll say. Um, yeah, Mason had a terrible pick too. Like it was.
well, yeah, I mean, he was making bonehead decisions in the red zone. The thing is that like it doesn't matter because like the team, which we'll get into, won't like a lot of the guys that performed in that game either graduated or left in the portal.
Mhm.
So we'll see. We'll see the confidence we get um, in the team as the offseason progresses. But
I also will say, I kind of forgot about this. I'd buried this in my mind. Pitt fumbled 4 times in that game and lost all 4. So
yeah, I did forget. I chose to forget about that.
totally forgot that. So yeah, it's hard to win losing the turnover battle 4-1. So
Do you have the
good
stats?
job, guys.
What were the sack numbers? I remember Mason being sacked a ton.
Um, let me see if do they track it here. ECU had 4, we had 3.
Okay, so it was more even than I thought.
It was, you know what it was? It was the sack fumble where Percy doesn't even get out of his stance and just gets blown by the D end and just Mason gets killed. That one felt like 7 sacks in one because I just saw it happen in slow motion. I was like, great, we're gonna lose this ball and we're gonna get, you know, it was that kind of day. Enough of that. Season's done. We got to 8 wins this time. Proud of the boys. Um, quick note on the other thing that sucked. What is this? 5 years in a row for Final
Yeah,
Four
five
losses. five
five
years
straight.
in a row.
Yeah.
Oh boy. I understand that this was somewhat of a rebuilding year, and I frankly think that getting to the Final Four with this roster, it was at times living friends, at other times it was not living friends. In the Final Four, it was living friends. I don't know what happens every year. They look awesome in the tournament. Nebraska gets knocked out. Fucking Texas was knocked out as well. Unfortunately, Texas A&M turned into a bone saw killing machine and swept us, which was awful. And then it seems that every year in the Final Four, they hit everybody on the team with like a CIA mind eraser ray. Because I think that like Liv in the past years has hit something like an average of like 360 in the Final Four, and no one else has performed to that standard. So she's got 1 year of eligibility left, and if they don't win a title for her, she will be one of the greatest players in the history of college volleyball to not win a ring. And it will be everyone else's fault because she was awesome. It sucks. Also, A&M apparently just turned into a Death Star. Can't do much about it. Very excited for. Did you see they got a Izzy Stark out of the transfer portal, the setter from Penn State?
Yeah. Right. Like it was like the first day the portal opened. It was been rumored for a while.
It had been rumored for quite some time. People were posting everything except confirming it. More or less, she had been cited on campus. She'd been following a lot of the players on Instagram, so she's now on the team. They also have Ayanna Watson, who is like the #1 high school player. She was the Gatorade Player of the Year in high school volleyball. So no pressure on these players, but you got to win. You got to win, live that ring this year, or it's a failure. Pretty much, I don't know. If you're a Pitt fan in December, you should just like go blind for 30 days. I think like, go blind, put earplugs in all the time because nothing good happens, right?
Yeah, I think like for Pitt fans they should install like the device in our brains like you have in Severance where you just like turn your brain off for a month and you never experience Pitt football in December. And then January 1st you're like, yep, New Year's resolution, Pitt's winning the natty in every sport. You know, what's new? So
It's pretty much ever since the ACC. I think the ACC title game was in December in 21.
yeah. Like was
Let
the
me make sure I'm
first
not
week of
making that up.
December?
Yeah. December 4th, 2021. That was the last good December day for Pitt sports fans. everything since that point has been nothing but pain and suffering, and our karmic retribution for being terrible people in a past life. I presume that's how you become a Pitt fan. That's the only way I've figured it out. Um, we're not even going to talk about basketball. I think it's very funny that they won in the snowstorm the other night, um, with like 12 people there.
I was gonna
I
say
was
it
watching a movie.
maybe 1,800 people. I don't know. The announced number was a little over 3,000, but from
Sure,
people who were there, no.
I'll keep it a buck with you. I was watching a movie that night, and I had a much better time.
Great movie, by the way.
One Battle After Another, great movie. Actually,
Absolutely great movie.
what's your best movie of 2025? If you had to pick.
Is it 2025 the newest Wes Anderson movie, or is that 24?
Phoenician Scheme?
Yeah,
I believe so.
I think it was 25. I think I watched it in the summer.
Yes, it was a 2025 film.
I think that's up there on my list. What was your top film of 2025?
I'm gonna say it's Eddington. That was, I think, the best movie of 2025. Well, it's funny. I think I had more fun with the Phoenician Scheme, but Eddington was the movie I walked out of and was like, that was one of the best movies I've seen. Also, with Eddington, we're getting off topic. Fuck it. We're getting back into the groove. No one should ever make a movie set in COVID again because Eddington did it right, and no one else is ever going to get to that level of like, oh yeah, everyone's insane now. Everyone else should kind of be just aping on that, and you don't need to. They already did it. They did it well. But yeah, Phoenician Scheme was great. Obviously, One Battle was great. Did you get the chance to catch No Other Choice, the Korean movie?
I did not know. Is that one I should put on my list?
You have to. Are you a fan of like evil movies? Like
Yeah,
movies that like make you feel like empty inside afterwards?
yeah, I can get behind one of
You
those.
fuck with that? Okay, yeah, you're gonna love this shit. It is one of the most evil movies I've ever seen. I think the director's Park Chan Woo. I want to say. Let me double check that. Yeah, Park Chan Woo. Great movie. Okay, I don't know. Back to Pitt sports.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Um,
I would be in favor of replacing basketball talk for movie talk until a certain someone is no longer employed by my university.
should we do a movie mindset segment on instead of Pit hoops? I'm actually down for that. We should pick a movie to all watch and talk about. Okay, I could be down for that. We'll look into films we can start watching. Let's talk about the big news of today. I think we're gonna save all the portal, all the changes stuff for football for the end.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the big news of the last couple days, and that is that Alan Green has detonated a thermonuclear device at Acrisure Stadium. It is no longer exists on this plane. It is nothing but dust and debris, and it is a contaminated zone that will be lasting 100 years. Oh, I'm sorry, I read the notes wrong. We're tarping off the upper decks. I think this is fine. I like okay. So what he said is that hey, basically we want to provide a better environment for Pitt football home games. So what they're going to do is they're going to tarp off the upper deck on both sidelines. They're going to keep the north upper deck. Is that going to be the student section overflow now? Do you know that?
Yeah, it was the student overflow last year. Most of it was granted. Um, and then the rest was like away team ticket stuff.
Uh-huh. Because
So
because I thought typically when I was in school, student overflow was up in like the north end of the west upper deck. Like,
yeah, so overflow used to be where they're tarping off, but last year, starting what happened last year, we got the student section overflow moved to the bleachers to trying to have one cohesive unit
yeah,
all the way up through, which when it did work was pretty cool. I just think like uh, next year there's not a ton of huge rivalry games, so there's not
there's
one
nothing.
huge ticket item, and they've talked about like removing the banners when we have a potential sellout against a rival. So I
Of
think
course, yeah,
like
yeah.
so for optics, like I think it will look better and I think it will sound better that you won't have huge gaps of people leaving. I think a ton of people in their concern were saying that students leave and that's the biggest issue for tickets and not that like
No.
it's and I think like the students leaving is just a factor of where games were at this year. Either it was usually a runaway in either direction. So I
Yes.
think student attendance is based on the competitiveness of the game, which, isn't really something that as from a fan environment we can really control.
No, and this is what you can control with the fan environment, right? Because as you said, like we're talking about optics here, right? Every single pit football broadcast, there were bright yellow empty seats because unfortunately with how Acrisure is set up, it the cameras are on the away sideline and there are always empty seats over there. And for the most part, you just have people kind of straggling in the upper decks. Um, Now we both say this as season ticket holders in the lower bowl. When the lower bowl is full, that place is rocking. So when you get the lower bowl full by forcing people down, you're creating a better stadium environment. And frankly, a normal capacity of 51,000 rather than like the 60 something that Actor can hold with the upper decks is better and more realistic for Pitt. 60,000 was always too large with Actor Hines. And moving it down to 50,000, you're just going to have a better environment. I'm sorry if you liked your upper deck seats. The lower bowl is more fun. Welcome to the Players Club. The yeah, the issue isn't the students; it's people not sitting in the in the lower bowls because the upper bowls were an option. So now I don't know what the final ticket prices are going to be. I think they should probably make it a little bit cheaper if you're going to make everyone sit in the lower bowl. But I think this is going to improve the game day experience a ton, and it will most importantly improve the game day environment. And of course, if when West Virginia comes back to town, if fucking I don't know Penn State ever decides to show up again, right? They'll untarp the upper deck. They're not going to keep it tarped off. That would be stupid. Um, I don't know. I like the move. I think the people who are losing their mind about it are they're just not looking at the right thing. I think it's going to improve the game day experience, and I don't know. I think it's a pretty good thing for Pitt. I think it's just a smart move. I think it's a smart move by the AD to say, "Hey, we're not usually filling our stadium. Let's make our stadium fillable." Right?
Yeah, and I mean, let's be honest, that big banner, the tarp that they're gonna put up is gonna have a Mac bid ad on it, and they're gonna charge out the ass for a Mac bid and a PNC Bank ad on those things, and hopefully that money gets reinvested into the football team and goes to the athletes. So I don't know. That's just how I envision it. But I think that it like will be an adjustment, but it's not like we said. The schedule next year is kind of ass for like home opponents. Um, so I think it's if there's a year for you to run this out, it was this year. So
Yeah, true. Yeah, like if this is like the trial run, this is the year due. I guess we can talk about the schedule. I forgot to put that on the agenda. Let's run through it because that just came out on the greatest release show of all time on the ACC network, which I'm sure we both watched.
yeah,
Right. Running through it, we've got the opening home stretch with Miami, Ohio, UCF, and Syracuse, and Bucknell all in September. Don't think I missed. Oh, okay. To note, Syracuse is a Thursday game in September. I mean, this Thursday game is always Syracuse. It's weird seeing it so early in the year. October is at VT on a Friday, UNC at home, at Boston College, at Miami, and then home against Georgia Tech before a November bye week, first week in November, and then another Friday game, this time at home against Florida State, at Louisville, and then finishing off the year at Cal. Why are we at Cal on rivalry weekend? Why are they not playing Stanford? What's up with that?
I have no. The schedules are the schedules nowadays with the rivalry week and stuff like it just is very confusing to me. And until we like you know leave a conference or whatever, I think we're still gonna just get a throw-in game for that. But uh, is it two? I think you only mentioned one Thursday game. Is there another one? Is that
No, there
UNC?
are two Fridays and a
Oh, two
Thursday.
Fridays and a Thursday. I mean, I think
UNC is always the Thursday game. Funny enough, they're a Saturday game this time for whatever reason, right?
yeah. I think like it's nice that we get prime time opportunities. Well, not, but like games at night. Um, after so many 12 o'clock kicks this year.
hmm
I'm also worried that we're gonna fall into what I ran into this year, where we don't have the toughest schedule to start, and I can kind of see me getting delusional again. But I'll probably be talking myself into like a 10-win season by like August anyway, so it doesn't matter.
I am yeah, I mean, listen, September is a on paper cakewalk. Um, October is certainly interesting. I'm very interested in back to back Friday night in Blacksburg against James Franklin. I'm just gonna say that right now. Friday night, national TV, the James Franklin storylines loss. We're losing that game. Just they're gonna play Enter Sandman. We're gonna destroy like 56 to I almost said 56-6. I have PTSD. We're gonna lose that game, and then back to back against Bill Belichick. Could he be fired by October 10th?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know. I don't know the beginning of their schedule. Their beginning of their schedule might be FCS, two group of five schools, or one group of five school, and
You want to hear their schedule?
yeah, I guess, yeah.
Because this is okay. They start in Ireland against TCU, and the last couple years, if you lose in Ireland, your season is basically cursed. So keep an
Well,
eye out for that.
that in 27 because we go to Ireland.
Yeah, keep it in your brain for that too. And then they have a bye week because they get the week 0 game,
Yeah,
their FCS game, and then they go at Clemson, week 4 bye, Notre Dame at home, at Pitt.
I feel like the teams are too good there for him to like get canned, but I could definitely see it if they don't look good in that FCS game.
They're gonna get dog walked by Notre Dame. They're gonna drop 70 on them. We're already getting into ACC preview mode. I'm sorry, we're looking a little bit too far ahead. We were talking about tarping off the stadium, and we got into will Bill Belichick be fired by week 5? No, I mean, when you were talking about primetime games, right? I do like the fact that we do have 3 like quote unquote guaranteed primetime games, like where they're like standalone games. The Thursday against Syracuse, the Friday at Virginia Tech, and then Friday against Florida State. Very excited for those. I'm like going to games at Virginia Tech. If you can go, they're always fun. I can recommend it. Um, I am horrified for that week's narratives and losing in the fucking Enter Sam, like, which I'm making fun of it, but that is actually really fun to do. So I shouldn't say anything because I did that when I went to the game in 21. Yeah, man, it's not the best schedule. I also, like I said, I don't love going at Cal for rivalry week. I guess it's the script bowl. They should make a trophy out of this, by the way. They should make it the script trophy, and the trophy should just be the word trophy written in cursive. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I would give me any excuse to play for a trophy. I think we are lacking trophies for rivalries,
Yeah,
where
no, we are.
you don't have one. So
Um, no, the one trophy we had, the old Ironsides trophy, quote unquote, went
just
missing
lost.
in
Yeah,
Penn State scare. Yeah, surely they just didn't throw it out because they're a bunch of dicks.
or it's sitting in some
But
frat basement somewhere.
that's honestly pretty likely, right? All right.
We're gonna talk transfers for a little bit, and then
Yeah. So do you want to break this up by position? I think that's probably the easiest way to go about it.
Yeah,
Just
I think it's probably the easiest.
okay. All right. Kick us off with quarterback.
Let me just get over here. So we know um, I will always appreciate everything Eli Holstein did on that 7-0 start. But he is now going to an ACC opponent in Virginia, which surprised me because he's also going there to compete with former Penn State quarterback Bo Babula. What's your opinion on that quarterback room while my computer doesn't freeze?
So my opinion of the Virginia quarterback room is that why? Why would they go and get two quarterbacks when they could have gotten one and then try to spend money on like a receiver or an O lineman? Um, I'm calling it the state of Pennsylvania sloppy seconds sponsored quarterback battle. We'll narrow down. We'll lock in the name, but Holstein versus Pabula is so fucking funny to me. It's the quarterback that Penn State drove out and the quarterback that Pitt doesn't want anymore competing at Virginia, who was the luckiest team in the ACC this year, by the way. They were like, I don't know how many one score games they played in, but they played in a lot of them. So keep my eye on them.
Yeah, so then the other departure from Pitt's quarterback room is Cole Gonzalez, who's now looking to start at Charlotte. That was a very interesting one to me because he redshirted here.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know enough about the Charlotte quarterback room. I mean, I assume that he's going to look to play there. Um,
I got nothing from
yeah,
that.
and then Pitt got a quarterback in the transfer portal. I'm going to butcher this name. Holden Greernier. Do you
I'm
know
thinking Gariner, something
Garner?
like that.
Well, all I know about him was he was a former four-star prospect who went to Auburn. Was it Texas State with Pitt legend Nate Yarnell last year? I mean, he's just a backup option in my opinion. I don't know if you have much more to say about him than that.
I don't really have much to say because he's attempted let me do the math here. 21 career passes it looks like.
Yeah,
So he's a backup. He might be looking for a start in coaching. Um I got nothing on this. If you're looking for actual like who's going to be a backup quarterback for this team, it's going to be one of the two freshmen most likely.
yeah,
Um
I definitely agree with that. Um,
or
they
like Bo
both look.
Jackson, I guess.
Yeah, Bo Jackson. I think he's still there. I don't know if he's scholarship yet, but
No, but hey man, they played David Lynch. Where's David Lynch going to? Where's he
Holy Cross.
Holy Cross, that's it. That's
It
right.
wasn't even on here, but I think he, per sources, which is him, I think he's getting a scholarship there. So congrats,
Good job to
Game
former
Buffs.
filmmaker, maybe dead guy, and also former Pitt quarterback David Lynch for leading a double life into making Twin Peaks and then being a really bad bowl quarterback. But honestly, no, if you're getting a scholarship and you're a former walk on, fuck yeah, great for him. I do think it's kind of it is a little bit disrespectful that they're not listing David Lynch's transfer here, but 247 looking. I think On Three might list some of those, but their website's kind of a mess. Um, I'll just breeze through running backs real quick. Jules Goff is transferring to Boise State. I think he'd be a great player there. He's the kind of running back they like, and he'd clearly gotten passed up by Boozy Turner this season. So I see it. I see why he would do that.
Makes
Derek
sense.
Davis is in the portal, currently not with a program at this point. We'll see. He'd been injured for most of the last 2 years, so not really sure what's going to happen with him. Obviously, wishing the best. He won us the 2024 Brawl with a rushing touchdown. And then we brought in Lavelle Wright from Western Kentucky, which I have done no research on. You can hear my keyboard going. Average 5.5 yards a rush. Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take that.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a ton to say. I mean, I'm a big where is it? I'm a big Damon Ferguson guy. Like I
Yep.
assume that I'm assuming that Goff saw the writing on the wall and I mean I thought he was gonna be really good. And he had his moments where he was really good, so I definitely understand why he would transfer for playing time. But to get to receivers, I mean, this is just this is just a bag chase by Kenny Johnson. I mean,
The first bag chase we're going to talk about tonight.
yeah, but Kenny Johnson to Texas Tech is an absolute hella bag chase. I mean, congrats on getting it. The numbers that I've seen, I don't have a guarantee on numbers, but like, get that bag, bro. Um,
Yeah, I
I
mean,
I know that, like,
we don't even have to say numbers, right? He's going to Texas Tech. Texas Tech is openly like, we are paying guys a ton of. It's part of their branding, right? We're going to pay you a ton of money to come play here. Because they had a guy basically buy the athletic department, and he's like, our brand is that you come here and you get paid, and you're going to win the Big 12 because we're going to buy the best players. Um, Now you know what, Kenny Johnson, congratulations. I liked you as a player. I always thought that he kind of fell short of being the wide receiver one that Pitt wanted him to be. I don't like how Pitt's wide receiver room is thin after he left, but he took a bag to downgrade a quarterback.
yeah, I mean, I think
Who's
that
who'd they get again? They got a fucking Brendan Sorsby. They got Brendan Sorsby at quarterback. For some reason, he was the number 2 transfer quarterback in this class.
he
Prior
was
to
one on someone's list.
granted, this is prior to Darian Mensah entering the portal, for which Miami will have its sins come back to it to haunt them. But Sorsby's not a good quarterback. He wasn't that good at Cincinnati, and he was the number 1, number 2 prospect. I didn't even like Levitt that much. I thought that the top 2 quarterback prospects were kind of full of it. I don't know. Like you said, clear bag chase. I always liked him as a player. I thought he was always a step short of being the player everyone wanted him to be. Good luck, man.
Yeah, and then we got
Um,
another
Go
player
on.
from a farm team, Malik Knight, coming from Western Carolina.
I'm actually curious about this because I think I was looking this up. Okay, no, he did. He was there. For some reason I thought he was there when Cade had already left. Which, to be fair, when Cade Bell was still a coach there, he only played in 4 games his first 2 years. But
Mhm.
I digress. Um, he was a productive receiver for Western Carolina. He is what's his Wow, I'm really beefing it. We're really getting back into our podcasting form where I'm doing research live on the air. He's a taller guy. I don't really know what they're going to do with CJ Lee. I think they're bringing him back, right? Because
Yeah,
he
he
technically
technically
redshirted.
redshirted. Yeah.
Okay, he's 6'2". I would assume that they're bringing him in to kind of lessen the blow. I mean, they'll probably bring him in anyway. They wanted to bring him up to kind of fill in for losing Kenny Johnson, as well as Zion Fowlerell, who apparently committed to Wagner, which we found out right before the show. Um, I mean, I guess thinking about the Pitt wide receiver room, like this is one that like is the most hurt by attrition after this year, losing Kenny Johnson, losing Poppy Williams. Um, am I forgetting somebody? I don't think so. Along with linebacker, right? They have the most attrition out
Yeah.
of the portal this year. And while they don't bring back a lot of production, I think I like the names they bring back a lot, especially I'm becoming a huge Bryce Yates head. What do you think about that? Could that be the move this offseason?
Yeah, I think they're also expecting a lot of the receivers from this year's recruiting class. Like, they're all here now. They
Mm.
have 2 6'5" receivers in this class. It seems like they can't really get size out of the portal with all the guys that they brought. I mean, they tried it with who's the guy who uh Andy Yean or whatever from
Andy
Florida.
Jean?
Andy Jean, wasn't he decently
No,
big?
he was like 5'11". He was
Oh,
not a
well, he
big
was
guy.
small. Well, somehow I saw he was going to LSU, which was
Is
insane.
did he officially? I know he visited there. Let's digress here. Andy Jean football, because when I saw that he was on a tour at LSU, I was like, "What the fuck?" Um. Okay, so he did not end up at LSU. Do you know where he ended up? He ended up within the SEC.
Um, I do not, but I'm sure I'm going to be surprised whatever you say.
Arkansas.
That's
Wait,
you
no.
should not.
No, wait. Apparently he was at Arkansas this year? Did I
I
totally
guess so.
miss that? I guess so. Did he enter the portal again? Oh, he entered the portal again after. Sure. I guess he was at Arkansas, where he caught one pass. Um,
Yeah, I
we
don't
have
really have.
265 receivers in this class. Are you pulling my dick? Oh, they're counting Villarreal as a receiver. Okay, I thought they were counting him as a tight end. That's my bad.
I'm pretty much
Okay.
good with the receiver room. It's just kind of like in Cade Bell's scheme, they're not gonna really pay for a to retain a guy like Kenny Johnson, and Pitt as a school can't pay what Texas Tech is paying him. So you're just gonna rebuild him in the aggregate. That's what they're gonna have to do.
I mean, listen, if Kenny Johnson was the true number one wide receiver that we wanted him to be, that he showed flashes of, instead of the guy who would run himself into tackles, maybe that's a guy that you try and retain harder. But like you said, it's kind of a guy you can rebuild in the aggregate. Do I love losing him? No. Do I think it's the end of the world? Probably not. There's other transfers that I'm more apoplectic about. I'll run through the O line real quick. Departures. Starting center Lyndon Cooper is going to Vanderbilt. Backup tackle Jackson Brown is going to UNLV. Backup tackle Ty Ray is going to Western Kentucky. And backup interior lineman Caleb Holmes is going to Jacksonville State. Am I remembering this correctly, that Caleb Holmes was the emergency nose tackle in the Miami game? Do I
Yes,
remember that right?
that's correct. Yeah, we watched him and we were like, who the hell is that guy?
Well, because I mean, listen, not to like discredit the coaching staff, but they had him basically like on all fours trying to like bear roll into the center. And I'm like, that is some shit you do when you know you're out beefed on the O line. Just put your biggest boy down there and tell him to get dirty.
They were like, dude, just go to his legs, just like fall at the line of scrimmage, plug the hole.
Yeah, pretty much. Just don't get flattened too fast in this fucked up stance. Best of luck to them. Lyndon Cooper can't hurt us anymore with his after snap penalties.
Yeah, that
Um,
West Virginia penalty was maybe the worst penalty I've seen in a football game ever taken. The pile is literally done. There are people starting to get up, and you just nosedive head first into a pile and take a 15-yard penalty when you get a first down in a game where you aren't moving the ball. But, like, I digress. Maybe he wins a job at Vanderbilt. Yeah,
I
that's
mean, I thought he was a pretty decent center, but I guess the plan is, and we're talking like they brought in a tackle from Penn, Natinho Oliveri. I assume he's gonna be starting opposite Bear. You've got B.J. Williams back. You've got Gavea back. We'll see if he starts. I guess they're moving Coretta to center. He can snap, right?
yeah. He was
He's-
a center in like camp.
I think he was snapping in one of the games because Cooper went out, and I can't remember which one, but I remember he was at center. Maybe against Stanford. I don't know. They also brought in Keelan Davis, another guard. I would presume that it'll be a competition between him and Gavea at left guard because, frankly speaking, Gavea was not a great left guard when he played for us last year. Davis from Akron, by the way.
Yeah, I think the line is just like they have options. They're probably gonna lean on some youth. I just like people were expecting Pitt to go spend millions of dollars in the portal and get like a big offensive lineman. I mean, they really didn't. Um,
I
but
mean, Oliveri's a pretty big tackle. He's 6'5", 315. You know, everyone wants them to, um, you know, bring in that big alignment. And as we were saying before with Indiana, we don't got that kind of money, so we're moneyballing it a little bit. um, listen, I really this is all to say. I really do like Oliveri as a tackle prospect with Pitt. Um, I don't know if he had got any other offers. Whatever, I'll figure that out later. I will make my decision after I should have made it beforehand. Before we get to defense, going to go through tight end real quick. We brought in Elijah Lag from UAB and Carson Kent from Oklahoma. I have no thoughts on either of these guys. They basically had no production at their previous schools. I think they were blocking tight ends. That's fine by me. And this was one of the weird departures to me. Malachi Thomas going to LSU. I mean, fucking good for the kid. I always thought he was a great player and a great athlete. I had no idea he was on like LSU's radar. Fuck Lane Kiffin. Go, stealing a player that I had so much stock in. I'm gonna hate to see him succeed at LSU because it should be at Pitt, but I didn't see this one coming. This was one that really surprised me.
Yeah, and from like talking to people like Pitt fans too, it's like this guy was going to be like tight end one, right? Like you had a bunch of filler from transfers in like Jake Overman and the guy from Marshall, Justin
Home.
Holmes.
I mean, he came on late in the year
He
as
came
one of
on in the
Mason's
year.
favorite targets.
But my point was like they were redshirt seniors, so like Malachi essentially had that job one. I mean, I guess like you could say that like Cade Bell's offense doesn't super utilize the tight end, so maybe he wants more production there. But also, this is another bag chase. This is going to
Yeah,
a Lane Kiffin that just has uber amounts of money that he's probably
yeah,
making. He definitely got headhunted, and because it was really early, like he entered the portal and visited like LSU like the second day.
yeah,
So I
yeah,
think this is just like we found an athlete from a lower level that we'll pay a lot of money to and see if he works out.
yeah. Especially because, like you said, I thought his catching was getting better as the year went on. So I thought he had that shit locked up. And well, it's time for the Max Hunt agenda to come out. That's
Yeah,
what I'm
the
peddling this
Max
offseason.
Hunt agenda is definitely something to look at.
Listen to this. I'm planting my flag for the Max Hunt agenda because he's from Plant High School in Florida. That's horrible. I'll see myself out. All right, let's get
Talking
to the
about
ones that
bag
hurt.
chasing
What,
coming
what
up.
was that?
I said talking about bag chasing coming up now.
Yeah, let's get to the ones that hurt. D line transfers out include the one that hurts the most, Maverick Gracio to Ball State. We will never forget you for your service of the West Virginia Pump Block. Just kidding. Francis Brewu is going to Notre Dame, and Jasir Whittington is going to Nebraska. The latter of which is certainly a bag chase because Nebraska just. I mean, I don't know. Like these are guys that are in the starting D tackle rotation, and I can see Brew leaving because they hired Charlie Partridge as their D line coach, which also hurts to have him back in college football and not here because he's one of the best in the biz. And reuniting with one of the guys that recruited him during his senior year of high school, that makes sense. I still hate to see him leave. I think he's a fantastic player. Whittington, another guy who's like in that starting rotation and just left for Nebraska. Uh, is this bag chase? Is this playing time? I don't know. What's your thoughts?
I don't think it's necessarily playing time. I think it's just like you have schools like Notre Dame who are willing to pay a ton of money to guys that have the size, right? Francis Brewer is a guy who was listed on the top 100 list, like the top 100 freak lists when he like first got
Mm-hmm.
here. And I think like when Pitt looks at a player like Brew with the number that he wanted, I think Pitt is like, we can get this production that he put up and someone that's going to cost less money. And I don't necessarily agree with it, but I think that was their decision when it came down to it.
So
Or they're just broke.
I'm gonna air grievance about Francis Brew because I'll say it, Brew is a little bit too online. He likes a lot of tweets out there. And a little throwback for you guys when we all thought Sean Lee was gonna enter the portal and everyone had a little bit of a freak out, myself included, where I said, tweeting about Sean Lee, the rumor that he was going to enter the portal. By the way, Hayes Fawcett, fuck you, lying to us, saying that his report breaking, freshman Sean Lee is entering the portal. He tells On3 Sports. No, didn't happen. Shout out Sean Lee, he's back. I basically said, what's the point of caring anymore if your young star player is going to up and leave after the breakout year? Francis Brew liked that tweet, and then he did that shit. Dog, what are we doing here? Lay off social media, man.
Yeah, and then he was liking tweets about Pitt being broke and listen, I think that you want to see the player get fairly compensated, but there's a certain point where you just have to be like, if you want to leave, you want to leave, and just admit that. Don't air out Pitt's broke on your way out when they didn't offer you probably what is considered an overpay by Pitt's offer. I don't know. You want to see the players get paid, but this is also what happens when you just create a system of Wild West and people can pay people however they want to, however much they want.
Correct. There's no rhyme or reason to it. If a team's going to overpay because they perceive a hole which they need to fix and they have the money to do so, they'll do it. And we're a have not, so it happens. But yeah, man, Brew, stay off Twitter. Everyone can see your likes. Kind of pissed about Whittington leaving too. It does.
He gets one start in the bowl game, posts about it, and then leaves for the next place that's going to promise him playing time and more money, and then he's probably not. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. It does help that both Fitz and James are back, and also maybe Neal moving back to tackle. We'll see. I don't know if he's going to stay out at the end. And then also coming in from Illinois, Jeremiah Warren and Elite Nairn from Tulane. I'm really sorry, I just butchered that. I know Nairn was pretty highly wanted in the portal, and I'm a big fan of Illinois' D-line coach, so I like the addition of Warren from Illinois.
He's big. They need some size.
He's a big boy. That is. Are any of the D linemen on this roster 300 pounders? Except I think Fitz is, right?
Yeah, Fitz has to be.
I'm gonna fact check myself on that. No, dude, Fitz is listed at 295.
Wow, they're probably giving him.
And Nick James is listed as 280.
Oh, there's their nose tackle.
Yeah, they're like, we need a new guy. Caleb Holmes got out of here. We need a nose tackle.
You want to get?
No, I actually. Good.
I didn't know if you had anything else before linebackers.
I'm actually very excited about 300-pound players on the defensive line for Pitt. That's something I like. I'm not sure that I love the fact that we got 0 edge rushers in the portal, but what am I going to do about that? We kind of get Jaden Moore as an addition after coming on late. Whatever. Okay, linebacker, real quick. We brought in Alex Sanford Jr. from Purdue and DeMarco Ward, who's a highly coveted linebacker from Memphis. Alex Sanford Jr., just want to say, weirdly, I think this happened twice this offseason with transfers posting AI edits of them in a Pitt uniform.
That looked nothing like any jersey that we ever have made at any point in time with the wrong colors.
We have a graphics department. Just hit them up, please. Do not do the AI thing. Anyway, you want to talk about guys who are getting an overpay. Let's talk about the Rasheem Biles transfer saga. So Biles enters the portal shortly after the bowl game, and he's immediately linked to Ohio State and Miami. And the rumor comes out that Rasheem Biles wants a salary. Who cares? Who says? I'll say it. He wants a salary of $3 million. And then something goes bump in the night where he apparently doesn't make the visit to either Michigan or Ohio State because they probably saw that price tag and went, we're not paying that money for an outside linebacker. He then goes on to visit Colorado, has a rumor visit to Florida State, which I'll pause right there, right? He doesn't even make the Florida State visit because he announces those two schools because those two schools are bad with money and will overpay for a player that won't actually fit in a championship contending roster. Rasheem Biles would not have put Florida State or Colorado over the top. He then visits Michigan, and then he commits to Texas at the very end of it, which glad you found the bag, dude. Why not just go to the NFL at that point? Like, I this is the one that really fucking pissed me off because
Well, he was also
I mean,
rumored to come back to Pitt when it first came out, and once he posted the picture with the shark and the Colorado uniform, I was like, all right, I don't want this anymore. Like,
that felt so disgusting, dude.
it was like a slap in the face to everyone who had ever like tried to promote stuff at Pitt, like tried to really get in with the shark stuff. Him and Lewis, and like it. Listen, it's not like it's just like a slap in the dick, right? Like I spent like 2 years like trying to promote this stuff, and then he goes and wears this big shark chain out to Colorado, and like I understand that it's not a Pit thing, like other schools have done it in the past, but it's just really annoying and stupid, and it's like a slap in the face.
Yeah, it's I like for pretty much every transfer, I think like for me, unless there is something where like there's bad blood on the way out, like Brew, like in tweets calling the school broke, Dayon Hayes lying about why he was leaving and saying the team wasn't ready to win now, which they ended up winning 7 games in a row after he left, by the way. Or like the Biles saga where it's clearly he's shopping himself around for a bag. Like everyone else, I'm like, yeah, go do you, go have success. When it's this shit that happens, I'm like, dude, just fuck off. Go play over there so I don't have to think about you again. This is the one that really pissed me off. I don't even know what else to say. I'm just pissed off. I kind of forgot about it for a little bit, and now I'm pissed off again.
Yeah,
Um, let's talk about defensive backs. Fuck it. To the portal go Jesse Anderson and Davion Pritchard to Kentucky and Kent State, respectively. Neither of whom got much playing time at Pitt. I'm not too concerned about that. Reserve guys. They brought in Rayon Strader from Auburn and Kanye Thompson, a D2 transfer from Slippery Rock, who actually had a ton of offers. And then Strader is also a local Pittsburgh guy coming back from the SEC. Because they're losing Battle. Are they losing Lineham as well, or is he coming back?
they lose Battle, Lineham, and Javon McIntyre to graduation.
Are we really losing them?
Now I think it's probably
Don't answer that question. Don't answer that question.
yeah,
no, I love these. Go
yeah.
ahead. Sorry.
Sorry. The only thing I was going to say is there's rumors that Kanye might play safety here instead of corner. I don't know how it's going
I
to.
mean, he's listed at 6 foot and a buck 68. That's a safety.
Yeah.
If he's not cracking 170, he'll just get tossed by a bigger receiver. I know he's a super fast guy. If he's too small to play corner, he's too small to play corner, and that's coming from a system where Narduzzi's played some small corners like Marquise Williams, but Marquise Williams had some muscle to him. He wasn't 168 pounds.
He might have been 5'4" though.
He might have been 5'4". We played like he was 5'10", but I'm actually curious. What was Marquise Williams' listed weight at Pitt? That's actually a good question. Yeah, he was 5'9", a buck 80, and if you're not like a buck 80, I don't know. It's to me. I don't. But either way, like there's a really good cornerback room coming back because Sean Lee's back, one of the most important players to have back for this team. Finishing up, I'll just run through special teams real quick because we had so many special teams transfers. I don't even know. Let's just run through it. Trey Butkowski got mono and transferred to Michigan. We replaced him with Samuel Hunsaker out of NAU, and is that? I'm fucking my shit up. Didn't we get a different kicker too?
Yeah, I think there's
making that
supposed to be 2 kickers.
There is another kicker, but they don't have it listed because I could have sworn I saw another kicker, but 247 is not listing it. We brought in Justin Schmidt as a long snapper to replace Henry Searcy, who I don't think ever played for us. And then to replace the indomitable Caleb Junko, we brought in Gabe Russo out of Idaho State. Just love the stadium there. Love a dome like that. And Sam Carpenter and James London have both transferred out, which I guess good for James. Good for them. That'll do it for the transfer portal roundup. We are running long. Do you want to just do coaches and kind of save the recruiting class for maybe a different show?
Yeah, let's just do the recruiting class. We can do like a big off-season breakdown of positions.
Wait, do you want to do the coaches or the recruit?
You can
Coaches?
do coaches because it'll be quicker. I need to get out of here for
Perfect. Okay. Real quick, a lot of coaching changes this offseason. Notably, we still have the same O-line coach, which I find to be appalling. I don't think he's any good at his job. Whatever. We'll talk about the ones that did change. Most notably, after the bowl game, they announced this beforehand. Randy Bates retired, which prompted Corey Sanders to be promoted to full-time DC. Ryan Manilak, the linebackers coach, departed for UConn for a DC role there for a promotion. Can't blame him. I think he's a rising coach in the industry. He needs that experience to get a DC title under his belt. They replaced him with Joe Bowen, who is the Buffalo DC. Great hire. He was a great DC at Buffalo, produced some really good linebackers there. To replace Sanders at the safeties coach position, they hired Harlan Barnett out of Michigan State, former Northwestern guy as well. I think he might have coached with Bates there. I double check me on that. The one hire I don't like is Mike Pfeiffer out of UNC replacing Bronowski as special teams coordinator. I don't want anybody associated with the Belichick UNC tenure at all. They're bad. They're bad guys. They're bad hombres. And then another good hire I like is Brent Davis at tight ends coach, former Army, Georgia Southern triple option guy, offensive coordinator. Brent Davis, if you're listening to this podcast, you need to teach Cade Bell how to go under center and run the ball. If you were listening to this podcast, we're going under center. We're running fullback dive. You need to teach Cade Bell how to go under center.
Yeah, and how to run a proper quarterback sneak and tush push.
Dude, if that's all that Brent Davis does, and our tenants don't do jack shit this year, it's a successful hire. If we can run the ball, great hire. Also, like I said, I think Bowen is a fantastic hire. I think he's an up and coming DC, and he did a great job at Buffalo. He produced some really good linebacker play there too. I think 2 all unanimous all MAC players. Like, really excited about the Bowen and Davis hires. And then Sanders, well deserved for the DC promotion.
Yeah, so I definitely you share my thoughts with that.
All right, cool. We're gonna get out of here. We've kept you about an hour. Thank you for tuning in. If you like the show, follow us on Twitter at Simplify Pod, and we will see you next time. We already talked about it. A little bit of recruiting news for the incoming class because we went a little bit long today. See you next time.
Hail the Pit.